Welcome. We're going to tell you stories, journeys of migration. People move. They move for different reasons. I moved because I was looking for trees, the pine trees, the snow and the mountains. I was looking for people. I was looking for a community. I was looking for you. So I asked the trees, "Dear tree, dear mountain, can I live here? And if I can, how can I inhabit this place without destroying it?" I found other people who shared their stories. They shared their stories, their journeys of migration. People move. No one journey is equal to the next.
Something that I've had very clear since I have been very young is that I always wanted to be in the performing arts. But at least in my case, under my economic and socio-political circumstances that I grew in, it proved to be very, very difficult to find avenues and opportunities back home. There was a lot of resistance towards my desire of becoming an artist.
I'm originally from South Korea, and my hometown is Daejeon. I was working in Seoul.
I was born and raised in Barranquilla, Colombia. The places where I lived and worked. So first was Poland, then Germany. In Poland I stayed for 6 months. In Germany I stayed for about a year. Then after Germany I lived in Austria, and I stayed there for 9 months. And then I lived in Cairo in Egypt for 1 year. After that, Istanbul, Turkey for 6 months, and that's when I came here.
I certainly migrated a couple of years ago. I'm originally from Mexico.
If I wanted to take the American citizenship, I need to give up my Caribbean citizenship.
The place where I was born wasn't welcoming, and I was within that culture. And now I'm in another place where I'm not from here, I'm very different, yet I found more welcoming natures and understanding.
When it first started as, okay, I'm gonna do an internship. Then when I went back to Colombia, and I just didn't feel like I do want it anymore.
Fortunately, I don't really worry about my statement, right? Because my husband, he's American, and I can get that citizenship anytime if I want. Do I really want, Because I have strong feeling as a Korean.
Deciding to stay here will come with many challenges.
A turned to be applying B, C, D, the whole alphabet, because things happen. I didn't expect that millions of Syrian refugees would collapse the whole immigration system in Germany. Plan A, B didn't happen. Well, think about another plan, and I have to go back. So that's why it led me to Egypt, which has nothing to do with the original plan. But my goal was to be on the move, to be out of my own country.
In my case, I choose this state of impermanence for now rather than to let go of my dreams. No matter how much you want to make a choice, sometimes that choice is not directed anymore by your intention, but by the circumstances that surround you that you cannot control.
I did finish my grad school in 2018. I married. I didn't have the OPT process because that time, before I graduate, my boyfriend, now he's my husband, he proposed.
Well, I don't have to worry about an expiration date because I got naturalized 3 years ago. So that is a weight out of my shoulders now. My husband changed my plans for the better. I met him in Germany, and I remembered I said, "You see, I want to stay in Europe. I don't want to move to the United States." That wasn't really my plan. Then he was very persuasive. He asked, "But have you ever been there?" I got a visa and I came here, and it was actually a good decision because the idea that I had about the United States was different. I came here, I was like, this place is lovely.
Now I'm pretty happy with my life. Maybe I have more experience with parenting and with taking care of family.
I feel in a state of complete freedom when I'm at a theater.
this is the best version of life. Just a beautiful landscape. I just look at my daughter. That is the answer. I look at my daughter and say, I'm grateful.
When I am working on a stage, for a moment, the only thing that matters is what we are creating on that stage. Everything else disappears.
Thank you everyone for being here. We're going to start a Q&A, questions that you have for the artists. Yeah. Does anyone have any questions? And I can go to you.
Hi, I'm curious about your dissertation that you're working on and how this is like involved in it.
Oh, thank you so much. So my dissertation is this interdisciplinary PhD thing with lots of wordy things, but I am studying arts and immigration, also with architecture studies, black feminism, a little bit of indigenous studies perhaps. So I've been thinking about these views, especially portrayed in the media, of migrants, immigrants, and that includes also refugees, undocumented people who were not really the ones that we interviewed, and thinking about the views that they have of them, right? So in the media, you see sometimes talking about migrants as if they were natural disasters. They come in big waves and swarms of migrants that are here to steal your jobs. And there were other moments in history where I was looking at similar views and also studying colonization, relations to racism. There is a scholar, Walter Benjamin, who talked about a work of art that uses technology to get past this alienation from extreme right-wing discourses. And it's not like he gives you any answers, but I was interested in thinking, what is a work of art that uses media and technology to undo these views and alienations? And it doesn't mean that it will change someone's view. It's just a potential, a little wiggle room, perhaps, because the arts welcomes many dimensions. The black feminist views of architecture about transforming a space is when you transform a space not necessarily with an architectural renovation, but with what you bring to the space, with a story, with people coming together. So you're transforming the space of the theater. So I think that that's enough words. Thank you.
Hello. So what made you decide to play the harp?
Oh, that's so when I was 4 years old, I don't know why exactly. I just asked my parents. I think I heard it, and I think it was Lorena McKenna, like back in the 90s. We had CD stores, and you could go. There was a special room where you listen to classical music and stuff like that. And my father would always take me there. I think that's where I got to know about the harp, and I just decided I wanted to play it. But then my parents were not happy about that. I ended up in the church studying the organ, which I didn't like, nothing about it. And then I switched to the piano, and now I have the harp. So I don't really know how I decided. Thank you.
Hi, thanks. I'm interested in hearing more about the rope work. How much of that is planned? How much is random? I'd love to know everything about that.
Thank you. Maybe, Chynna, would you like to respond? Thank you.
Thanks for that question. I was really curious to know what the rope meant to you guys, so maybe some of you want to share that too. So I consider it a dance score. So there were certain moments that I had planned, but the actual what happens with the rope was all improvised. I don't have that type of control. So, however it gets wrapped and unwrapped was all what you saw. I didn't have that plan. But where it ended up on the stage, maybe like, am I getting into it? Am I getting out of it? That part was loosely planned.
Well, we did have a structure, right?
Yeah, there was a score. It was a dance score. Yeah.
Would you like to?
Sure.
Yeah, no, something when we were experimenting with the rope, which was a motif that at some point in conversations Aline brought up, and we started to experiment with what kind of rope, is it malleable, if it's rigid, all that. And when we were in the space with Chynna, like what she says is true, but I think that the unpredictability and kind of like that we were not in control of the rope at all times actually translated very good with the concepts and the themes that you saw on stage today. For us, the rope became this visual metaphor of the journey of migration, and precisely that quality that it is unpredictable. We don't know where it's gonna land. We have some agency in it, but at the same time, it's not an element that we can govern at 100%. That became very interesting to us to explore. And honestly, when we saw it together, how it was tying with also the stories, the narrations that you were hearing, we thought it would be, it felt right when we saw it. So that's how we ended up with the rope.
I feel like also the rope was symbolic of how your comforts and your barriers and obstacles are sometimes kind of intertwined. It's the same things that are bringing you both, and it's very hard to, like, even when you get out of the situation, to feel free from it because it's what you're used to, and it's like you're all cozy in that, even though you were uncomfortable, as you saw on the stage as I got wrapped up in it. And then I get out, and I don't have anything wrapped around me anymore. I'm not cozy anymore, but I'm free, and it's confusing, you know?
Thank you.
Thank you so much. This was an incredible performance. You asked what the rope meant for us, so I guess I'll start with that before my question. So I'm an immigrant as well, and my read or my interpretation of the rope is you have all these things, and when you pick up and move, you don't necessarily leave that behind. You're kind of carrying that with you, and so trying to untangle it as you're moving, girl, I was like, rest. It made me, yeah, I've never felt so emotionally like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize I'd get so emotional watching someone untangle rope, but that was the experience for me. And I love the aspect of bringing in performance and movement to this theme of migration, which is largely about world building in a way. And so I thought the medium was amazing for your dissertation. I'm curious about the interviews that you did that had the sounds come in. How did you select, or like were there voices that didn't necessarily make it, or was it crafted largely with like a vision and then those came in, or those interviews and oral stories largely shaped what this was?
Thank you for this question. So I wanted a lot more interviews than that, and then we got the ICAT grants, and we had a deadline because I need to graduate. I got all the funding I could get, and so it was like, oh, we need to get it done. And then, Brandon, would you like to talk about how the voices went in, or the selection?
Yeah, I can speak to that. And sorry I'm not on stage. I have to be back here running sound too. So I'll just kind of be in the back corner speaking. The voices, so Aline really chose the voices based on her vision. The interviews themselves, we had questions we asked, but the people who were being interviewed gave the answers they wanted to give. There was not really a whole lot of like steering besides just the questions, right? And some people would just kind of veer off the question and talk about lots of other things, which was really nice and refreshing. So we had an hour, more than an hour of each person we interviewed that we had to pick and basically get 3 minutes per person. And how they were put into the piece, they were actually played live with this controller. And I have all the voice cues on here, and I have kind of a rough plan of which ones to press when, but it's basically up to me how to trigger them and when to trigger them. So.
Yeah, we try to separate by theme with movement 1, 2, and 3. But I wanted like hours of interview, but I mean, it's also taxing for an audience to hear the whole interview, but it will be in my dissertation.
And I feel like as the dancer, it definitely shaped my motivation, the things that I heard, because they were already done by the time I came onto the project. So getting to hear people's stories helped me figure out like, what does this journey look like? What's happening? Do I want to stay? Do I want to go? Do I want to make a home here?
We also hope that telling the story is not only through the interview voices, but through the music, through the movements with the dance and the rope, that they're also storytelling elements. I think we have 2 more questions.
I'm sorry I was unable to come in here because I came here a little bit too late. I was unable to see it, but I'm sure it was really great, and I'm really sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
No, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Oh.
I just feel like I disrespected you.
Oh no, you didn't disrespect me at all. It's just when you come late, I think they don't let you in because it's dark and it's like a hazard. But I can play something for you later. Oh, I feel so bad.
Thanks.
Oh, thank you.
Number one, thank you guys so much. It was a wonderful performance. I enjoyed, every moment of it. I just had a question about the music. I thought that I may have heard some binaural beats and some frequencies, and I thought that was interesting because it set like a mood for relaxation. I don't know if anybody studies with binaural beats or not, but I kind of saw that with the new technology, and then the combination with the harp played into the narrative of what I saw with the rope, being that it's the ancient connected with the new. And for me, seeing the rope, it symbolized the number one net I felt as an African American that ensnared me, that brought me to this country. And then as she delved into the net, into the rope and tried to untangle it, it brought up remembrances of me and my learning of my own heritage, and putting together pieces of a knotted past that may work out, may not work out, and you get frustrated by not having all the pieces. And when you see just what this once net has now transformed into a knot, symbolizes just the struggles that I feel African Americans have gone through. And just seeing this on the tapestry of the sky, allowed me to, just think of my mind and how my mind is that sky. But that's everybody's sky, and I believe all of us struggle with our own rope. So, this community coming together really helps us to understand that we all may struggle with our own individual ropes, but that one rope ties us all together as humans, as humanity. So thank you for allowing me to see that.
Oh, thank you, Lacey. And
Yeah,
Brenda,
that was beautiful. Thank you for that.
do you want to comment on the music or something like that? No?
No.
Okay.
We have time for probably like one or two more.
One-
Hi. I also loved all of the visual display that you guys had projected down. I was just kind of more curious of like the artistic view that went into choosing the different scenes and kind of like, I don't know, just like the intention behind it, because I thought it was really cool. So I'm just kind of curious on that as well.
Thank you so much. I chose thinking about these elements like the birds, the sky, calming trees and grass. And then we were playing with effects in OBS, the video program, and experimenting, and some things like, oh, this is kind of dark, so maybe we can use it in this section and that section. And that's how we chose. Does anyone have any other comments? No.
Yeah, I'll say that as far as choice, Aline worked mainly on the video, but since this project was on such a tight deadline, we kind of had to make choices quickly. So we kind of went with some of our intuition, I would say, as well. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wanted to do a lot more things, and then Nia and Brendan were very helpful to say, no, you need to stop. I was filming trees in front of my house, like, oh, I want to do more. But
Do we have time for one more?
Never mind.
no,
Sorry.
you're fine.
Okay. I'm sorry I was unable to. I was also. Is it? Are you? Are you still happy I made it here?
Oh yeah, I'm very happy you made it here.
Okay.
Thank you for coming here.
I'm sorry, I wasn't. Sorry if I wasted your time. You can ask me.
Oh no, you didn't waste time. No, thank you.
Just one quick one. Since you were talking more about how you designed the production, I'm curious if you knew you were going to be in this space originally and you designed it for this space, or the other way around, or whatever.
Yeah, I definitely designed for this space. When I applied to the grants, I wanted this space. If we got some other space that is smaller, we wouldn't have had more time. But I want the cube because of the capacities to do the sound, the capacity for people, the floor projection. I think there's something about this space I wanted to work with. And I was not interested in a dissertation that is academic and full of fancy words. I wanted to make work for the community that I love and the people here that I love. I wanted to be able to invite as many people as possible and have something where people can come in a cool space to transform the space in this ways. So, thank you. Thank you so much for coming here. It means a lot to us. Thank you.